Halo Reach, man. Main reason you get a Halo game is to play the campaign, right? I know Halo Reach had its problems with, Bloom, all that kind of stuff, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about reasons why this game was so good. What better way to start off a Halo game discussion talking about its campaign? Just the impact, the first game where you played as your own Spartan. You weren't Master Chief, you weren't any of that kind of stuff. You were your own character, bro. And what was even more crazy about that, you had the customization. Like, you could customize your Spartan and it would be in the cutscenes. It would show, man, that was amazing. Anyway, let's get to the actual campaign part. So you're with a group of other Spartans, which we normally didn't see because we were normally fighting as Master Chief, the main Spartan, if you get what I'm saying. But we ended up working with this team, and it was just something different completely. Obviously, we played with a team of ODST, but we were a group of Spartans, which just had a completely different feel. As we're with this Spartan team, we have to go and check out, I think it's Visegrad, right? And that area was quiet, right? Like, there was, for some reason, all communication just like cut off and all that kind of stuff. So we were sent there to go and check it out, to see what had happened, to see what happened to the other people that got sent there to on Reach, their main military household, bro. Like, it was just sus. Then eventually you end up finding out that, the Covenant is on Reach, which, yeah, that's a big thing, especially on Reach, because if they find Reach, they know where Earth is and all that kind of stuff. The way the Covenant were introduced, like when we first meet them, it was a bit, it could have been better, obviously, but that cutscene where we get like ambushed by those zealots, and that was amazing. That was too good. It made you be like, yo, this is a serious threat. But it would have been better if that was at the start anyway. Then eventually we end up doing some smaller missions like Sword Base and those kind of things, where we end up meeting Dr. Halsey, and we get to see how the Spartans react with Halsey. And then we got to the night mission, which Halo does do some good night missions. Some people didn't like it because obviously some parts were taken off Halo CE, like some sections. Well, not really some section, but the end part. Then we got to see Tip of the Spear. That was where it was an all-out war, when we realized this is it, bro. Like, we're actually going to battle with these guys. That first amazing cutscene, bro. That's an iconic cutscene in my opinion. The way I could go and glaze and saying the way they show the camera angle of certain things, like it was very cinematic at that time and all that kind of stuff. And to me, it's just like, yo, it's crazy. I know I sound like I'm waffling, but I'm trying to almost describe it from just seeing it from like the first time over to scripting and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, we end up fighting, obviously, a couple Covenant, and we take down a spear, and just, that was amazing. But I think this was more the turning point. This next mission was more the turning point, when we went Long Night of Solace, when we start seeing the reality of what happened with Reach, and yeah, it just wasn't good at all. So obviously we get into Sabers, we go into Sabers, and then the first death of the campaign just really hits hard, man. George, like, you were expecting this wouldn't happen, and then, we were thinking, oh yeah, this is just it's not a small sacrifice, this is a sacrifice that has to be done, you're saving the planet, all those kind of things. More Covenant ships turn up. Then you realize, what was the point of that sacrifice? We get back down, and we're already in the Sea of New Alexandria. And it's just an absolute, it's tragic, man. We're seeing civilians get slaughtered. We're seeing it's just tragic. Skyscrapers just get cooked. Yeah, it just pretty much goes downhill for Noble Team. From that part, we end up losing Kat in just a shocking way. I remember just watching that. That was horrific. Then we go back to Sword Base, and we're just trying to fight. But even though we're going back to these places, we're seeing how much more the planet's getting destroyed. You're seeing the sky, you're seeing how it's more orange now. There's like hardly any life. Everything's burned. If you get what I'm saying. I think for me back then that was very powerful. The showing of the emotion just from the surroundings and stuff. What is it? Pathetic fallacy. And we've got orders to go back to sword base to obviously just destroy all sensitive material, but in reality we're there having to retrieve a fragment of Cortana, right? We're just losing members one by one. June ends up having to go with Halsey. We end up going on a Pelican to try and go to the Pillar of Autumn to deliver the package. Then we have to jump out because, you know, we're getting absolutely cooked. Like, Carter's almost, like, he's finished. And then we're having to go down on feet. But obviously, time and time again, end up losing another member. Carter has to sacrifice himself. We are there fighting on the ground. Emil is there on the main Mac cannon, trying to just help out. Same old thing happens again. Like me saying it right now, it sounds so it's so obvious that it's gonna happen, but in those moments when you get those small wins, you think that you're gonna end up, you know, we're gonna somehow win this, guys, but in reality the fate has already been set. Like, we're cooked, you know, losing members one by one, just picking them off by like little flies. It's horrific, man. It's actually tragic, like, when you're playing it, because you're realizing that is, you end up gaining that attachment to that team, and you end up realizing that is you, like, you're part of that team. Just watching this cutscene, man, there's literally nothing you can do, literally nothing, and you just can tell what's about to happen. But obviously Emil gets killed and we have to stay behind, and it's just pretty much the whole way through playing it. Even when you get those 2 deaths, you're almost expecting we're all gonna die, right? But it hits deep. It really hit deep. It really hits deep, man. To sacrifice ourselves just to pass on that hope, almost pass on the baton of hope. But yeah, that was that campaign for me. For yeah, I don't think there's been many games that have that impact on me. Yep, here come the glazing from me. Seeing that at the end of the campaign, then we get to see the starting cutscene of Halo 1, and it just goes full circle around like a Halo. I just thought it was so cool the way Bungie did that. And for especially people that have played the first game, like when it first came out, it must have meant a lot to them. So yeah, quite crazy if you ask me. Can't lie, I think it was better for me to not talk whilst just letting that play, because it was just such an immersive experience playing that. Even though it was one of those ones where it like taught you that sometimes you could give it your all, you could fight all the way to the end, but still not get what it is that you want. That's what it almost like showed me. Just the way they just kept pursuing and pursuing and pursuing. Even though they lost for the planet, they still won. Like, they still won the whole war. So it almost taught me the message, I guess, to never give up. I don't know. For some people, it may just be the complete opposite, to give up or something, even if you try give it your all. But for me, definitely, it was very, very moving. Even though that sounds so cringe, but yeah, that's just me probably waffling, I can't lie. But yeah, that was pretty much me summing up that whole campaign. I kind of waffled at some parts, but I just wanted to say it as my own opinion, obviously. So yeah, the second best thing in my opinion was those custom games. Those custom games were amazing. Like, I was quite young when I was playing these Halo Reach games, but those custom games were fantastic, let alone Infection. Yo, Infection, Invasion, those games, obviously I could be, oh, I'm just being nostalgic and all those kind of things, but that was actually enjoyable to play. The Halo Reach custom games, bro. I don't think many games have had that same feeling for me. Yep, here comes the Halo fan bias, bro. You had that full package of games. Like, you had your campaign, you had the multiplayer, you had Forge, you had Firefight or Hordes game mode. Like, I could obviously go into why nowadays it feels majority of games just don't have that same level of care, just gaming in general, but that's another video topic. But right now, Halo Reach, man, for me, it's a game that I even still play to this day. It was a game that I wanted to keep playing and all this kind of thing. So yeah, those were fantastic. Number 3, let's go into Firefight. I kid you not, when you would play Firefight, it was, let's say, for example, if you were bored, if you wanted a challenge, you know, you didn't really want to sweat in like multiplayer and do those kind of things. You just wanted to have fun. And some people obviously think that ODST Firefight is better than Halo Reach's, which is totally fine, you know what I mean? But Halo Reach's Firefight for me was just really fun. It was really arcadey. It was just so much fun. You could just mess around, just continuously fighting. It was just a fun little game mode. Like, it wasn't you had to try way too hard, unless if you wanted to try hard, you could put on all the skulls on and you could just slap up the difficulties. Like, what was it, legendary? Yeah, you could just do that if that's what you really wanted. You wanted a challenge instead of just playing campaign again and again and again. So yeah, that was phenomenal. Number 4, the Forge. Oh man, the amount of it just built upon Halo 3. It just built upon it. It just made it more fleshed out. You had a whole Forge world. You could you could literally do anything, like obviously within its guidelines, or like that the game like could allow. Only problem with that was just like everything had that same color, that same gray color. Obviously you could change some of the colors of it, like, you know, those little lights in the actual Forge building structures, those Forerunner structures. You could change the light to like blue, red, all those kind of things. But for a game in 2010 to do that, it's incredible, man. I don't think there's been games now that offer that much content then. But yeah, I did waffle quite a lot, so this isn't a fact. This isn't me being like, oh, this is 100% facts. This is more an opinion on what I think on the game. Obviously it was my first Halo game, and it had elements that were maybe not as good as Halo 3 and, you know, the other previous games, because let's say Bungie were testing, like, let's say things from Destiny on this game with Spartan abilities. I didn't mind sprint and jetpack, but that's obviously me. Armor lock is annoying, I won't lie. I stand by that hill. The bloom can be annoying, I won't lie. It can be very annoying, and I don't blame people for complaining about the maps. Like, they're just pretty much taken from campaign. So yeah, I don't blame them for those things. But even with those problems, it's still such an amazing game. Right now, Halo just feels a bit, I don't know. And I'm meant to be talking about Halo Reach, but it's an I don't know. It's been like this probably since Bungie left, I guess. Like, oh yeah, good news and then bad news, and then like we don't know. So yeah, I just decided, why not, let's make a video why Halo Reach was good. And I'm going to go from chronological order from Halo Reach all the way to Halo 4. I don't know if I'll do Halo 5. If you enjoyed this video, like and let me know in the comments if you enjoyed it, if you thought I was being very biased, if you thought I was just waffling. You know, I appreciate the feedback if it's criticism. If it's just hating, then alright, hate. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, hopefully the next one I make is about Halo CE.